Yo, what's up? It's me, Stephen Kramer Glickman. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. What is happening?
Smoke weed every day.
All right, a lot of people do. All right. I'm not going to say who they are, but you probably know a few of them. Let's talk about the greatest vape that is on the market right now. It is blackoutx.com. Blackoutx.com. I'm talking about blackoutx.com. They've got this amazing vape. It's Premier Vape 2016. This thing is selling for $99.95. It's under $100. All right. It's under a hundo. All right. But this thing is worth $134.95. That's what people are talking about. That's what people need right now. People are asking for this. We're talking about a zero combustion 3-in-1 with no coil. All right. Let's talk about this thing. It's the Premier 3-in-1 vape. All right. It's it's the most anticipated vape on the market. Okay, we've been hearing from people. People have been talking about it, and they are loud and clear about this. You guys all demand this pure convection vaporizer that can handle large quantities of dry herbs and oil, liquid, wax. Well, guess what? This is the thing. This is the way to go, and this is what you do. You go to blackoutx.com and you go pick up one of these things, the Premier Vape. The 2016 version. It's got all sorts of great stuff going on. It's the only unibody device that's less than $100. Okay. Additionally, the Premier has it's got a built-in battery that can support inline charging via micro USB. There's no coil. It's just a convection baking chamber that prevents burning and maximizes vapor. Okay, and guess what, guys? Guess what's going on? You might think I'm crazy, but the truth is, we've got an amazing deal for you because you guys are listening to the show, okay? We're going to give you 15% off, a 15% off coupon. It's a promo code. We're giving you a 15% off coupon, okay? And free shipping when they spend more than $20. When you spend more than $20, you're going to get free shipping. It's pretty easy. You spend $20 all the time on a bunch of stupid stuff. So this is your turn to spend it on something that's super awesome. And the promo code is SKG15. That's right, SKG15. SKG15. So get on over there. Go check it out. Check out the website. It's blackoutx.com. Blackoutx.com. We're talking about blackoutx.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Nighttime Show with your host, Stephen Kramer Glickman. Today, we have a special guest, creator of the Roast Battle at the Comedy Store, soon to be seen on Comedy Central, also star of the Roast Battle film, directed by Jason Reitman, an official Sundance Film Festival selection, Brian Moses.
Yeah.
Also joining us, Chris Pfaff, also known as Drama, the owner of the Young and Reckless clothing company, star of Robin Big, star of Fantasy Factory. I am Matt Walker, and joining us as always, your host, a man who I once beat in a cupcake eating contest, Stephen Kramer Glickman!
That is a fact. That really did happen.
I did.
Yeah, you wouldn't know it by looking at us. I look like I'm made of cupcakes. But
yeah.
he tried to compete with me once, and he ate just a shit ton of cupcakes. How many cupcakes did you eat?
Well, we set like a 5-minute time limit. I think I had 4, and you had like 2.
You're such a piece of shit. He ate way too many fucking cupcakes. I thought he was going to get sick.
And then you had to you're like, hold on, I got to check my blood sugar.
Yeah, I was like, my blood sugar. I'm going to die of diabetes before this game is over. Brian, how are you? You're here. We're so excited that you're hanging out today.
I love that story. I just want to start with that. That's crazy.
That's a fact.
I don't look like I can eat that much food, but I can.
No, you don't, actually. And I like that high blood pressure or sugar intake actually stops you from winning that contest.
Yeah, man. It's fucking terrifying. I can't eat that.
He's like, I want to win, but not at the cost of losing a foot.
Yes.
It's like
oh, Jesus.
I'm not willing to trade 1 foot for beating Matt Walker at a cupcake contest.
See, that's the problem with Matt Walker, and we noticed this when we put you. You were very cool. You put him on roast battle, and he battled, but the problem
the audience did not like him.
Yeah, they did not like him. The problem with Matt Walker is that he's a little too mean without any redeeming qualities, I believe, is the real.
The red hair is a redeeming quality.
he's got like 2 redeeming qualities.
Yeah.
But he's kind of a mean son of a bitch. Your show is absolutely
It's killing it.
Amazing.
Thank you.
It helped revitalize a club that was DOA.
Right. It was dead on arrival. It was done.
Like the Comedy Store was like, we're like, okay, when is it just gonna get torn down and turned into a parking lot?
Like that
it was dead.
For years, people were like, yeah, pretty soon, Paulie's just gonna fucking rip this place down, turn it into a parking lot. That is no longer the case. Like people don't talk about it that way.
Yeah. It was like Paulie's gonna make this a strip club, or he's gonna make it a parking lot, or whatever he's gonna make it.
Yeah, and then your show comes along, and it really was the first show, because a lot of people have put on shows at the Comedy Store, but yours was really the first one to take off. And I was talking to someone about it the other day that I went to your show in like the first month or 2 of it being a thing. And I was like, wow, this is a really cool show. And then I went back a year later, and the judges, instead of the judges being like door guys in the club, it was John Legend and like John Mayer and Chrissy Teigen. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, how did this happen? How did this situation happen, Brian?
Well, first, just there's no fact checkers, but it wasn't John Legend and Chrissy Teigen. I mean, God, that'd be great.
They were there. They were up in that upper
were they
section.
really?
You better fucking believe it, man.
They never told me that.
No.
This is my first time I'm hearing about this.
You're on stage. You just have lights. You can't see who's up there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Chrissy Teigen and John Legend were there?
Absolutely,
and
they were
nobody
there.
told me. All right, well, now I got to talk to her.
I know because I walked up to John Legend and I tried to have a conversation with him, and it did not go well.
He's like, we're not ordinary people.
Yeah.
You can't talk to me at all. It was dope, man. So it starts as an open mic. So I just want to do an open mic, you know what I mean, just to create more stage time for people. And then a situation happened where a door guy and an open mic comic, they wanted to fight each other. And instead of fighting, I suggested, hey, why don't you guys just talk some trash about each other? Yeah, they want to kill each other.
What was the reason?
Who were they? Do you know who?
Yeah, Josh Martin. He's still a door guy there, and then Kenny Lyon. The reason was Josh was drunk, Kenny was underage, and nobody knew Kenny was underage because you have to be 21 to get to in the Comedy Store. So then Josh was like, I'm kicking him out, and then Kenny was like, I turn 21 tomorrow. I'm coming back next week. I'm gonna beat your ass. And we were like, yes, slap box. And then I was like, no, we can't slap box, even though that'd be dope.
Yeah.
How about you guys just talk trash about each other, and then we'll all just judge it like a boxing match in the room.
And that was the first battle.
That was the first battle.
Wow. Holy crap. What was the first big battle? Like the
first big battle was Yasser Lester versus Benji Aflalo. Yasser is a writer on Girls. He's also an actor on Girls. He writes on the Carmichael Show. I mean, Yasser's killing it right now. He's killing it back then too. It was Yasser versus Benji, and Benji's a writer for the Comedy Central Roast and Nikki Glaser Show on Comedy Central. And that was the biggest fight we had, and that was back in 2013, like week before Christmas.
Wow.
Now, when you started, you had this first battle. How do you go from that and say, was it like the next week? You're like, this was so cool, let's do this like next week? Or was it like it took you like a month to figure it out, or what happened?
Yeah, it was like I was doing the show anyway every week, just as an open mic. So then that would be like the halftime of the open mic. It would be like, all right, 2 guys want to, we got 2 more guys who want to battle, just keep doing it. And we just kept doing it every week. And then literally every week since we started it, I haven't not had a battle. God. Just because so many people want to talk trash to each other in front of all their peers and their idols.
Unbelievable. Awesome. And the longer that you've been doing it, the more intense that show has gotten, the bigger names that have showed up.
And that's what's nuts about it, because that doesn't usually happen. Things don't like gain steam. They usually lose it, especially in comedy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So it's nuts, man. It gains steam every year from hitting the festival circuit last year with South by Southwest and Just for Laughs. And then this year, the movie comes out and goes to Sundance.
Oh my God. And then the TV show.
And the TV show is going to be this summer. Yeah.
Have you seen a lot of copycats popping up around the country?
Yeah, it's a movement now. I mean, you're talking about it's in 4 continents.
Wow.
There's 2 cities. Yeah, there's 2 cities in Australia that do it: Melbourne and Sydney. There's the UK. There's South Africa South Africa has a roast battle TV show coming out on Comedy Central South Africa.
Get the fuck out of here.
Do you
Are
get
you
a piece
part
of that
or no?
I don't know that.
Yeah, so that's a no.
I mean, my
You would
lawyer's
know.
looking into it. No, but yeah, I think we're all affiliated for the most part.
Oh, really?
And then there's 6 cities in Canada, and then there's like 18 to 30 cities here in the United States that do it.
Wow.
Wow.
It's going to be a league soon, I think. So
Yeah.
Jeez Louise, man. Jeez Louise is the correct response for that. It's absolutely
amazing.
incredible. It's really amazing, man. We have much more to talk about with you, but
hanging on.
let's bring in our very special guest. You know this guy, you've seen him on Punk'd. But we all kind of grew up, like we all kind of grew with you. Like we watched you on Rob Dyrdek's Fantasy Factory. Your second cousin, a family relation of yours.
Yeah.
We watched you come from like being just like a dude hanging out, just being around, to like I remember seeing the episode of you creating Young and Reckless.
Yep.
And then this brand is a massive fucking brand. Like it is a huge deal. And we're super lucky to have you. Drama is here. Come on.
Oh, thank you. Stop.
Thanks so much for being here, man.
Hey, thanks for having me.
No,
This was a great turnaround. Like quick, we had a meeting the other day and you're like, hey, you want to stop by and do this thing? I was like, I'd love to.
I know. And your office is super cool.
It has a cool view, but it's really dirty, and I'm not taking advantage of my good real estate.
No. This guy has Michael J. Fox, Back to the Future 2 Nikes sitting in a glass box. How they should be displayed in a glass box.
100%. That's as far as I went. I moved into that office, and I'm like, man, this is going to be the sickest office ever. I'm going to decorate it. I'm going to get a box for my shoes. I got a box for the shoes. I never did another thing. Everything else is from IKEA.
I know. No, that's it, man. My I have in my little home office, I have a giant glass case that's filled to the top. It's huge. It's like 6 feet tall, and it's filled to the top with Star Wars toys from the 1980s.
Yeah.
That's
It's
about
all
as
about,
cool
like,
as I get.
priorities, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I was like, I keep those locked away. Everything else,
Who
the
cares?
fucking dogs can eat if
Yep.
they want to, and they do. Like I've walked in on my dog like chewing on a He-Man toy from 1979. You know, and you're
I like that they're in a
"Son of
glass case, like just in case of emergency, I'm gonna break these open and just,
Right.
rock these in
play.
front of people. Yeah.
Play for
If I
a-
forget how to tie my shoes, I can just break the glass and they'll tie themselves. If I get a head injury,
Right.
break the glass.
yeah, exactly. Somehow that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
If you fall off your hoverboard,
Right.
knock your head over, you got the shoes that can tie
You got the
themselves.
shoes that can tie themselves. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, you're
There we-
right.
See.
You all right?
So let's figure this out. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Akron, Ohio,
Really?
which is cricket town. Yep.
What?
LeBron country.
Yeah, LeBron. Yeah, that's what we got.
But
We got
before LeBron, right?
Yeah, like I think LeBron was like 2 years ahead of me in school, and so I remember like he was killing it in high school, but I just could not have given. Can I cuss on here?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can say whatever the fuck
Couldn't
you
have
want.
given a shit less. And my dad is a photographer, so my dad was taking photos of the games. My dad took the photos of LeBron and his now wife and their newborn baby. Right, it's hanging in their
What?
studio. Yeah.
Holy crap!
And he would go shoot his St. V games. And so my dad would always say, yo, you have to come check this kid out. He's so good. He's so good. And I was like, Dad, I don't give a shit about like a good high school basketball player. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, like, what the fuck, Dad? You know I don't care about that. And then I remember like there was the whole thing where he bought his mom a Hummer. I don't know if you remember hearing about
Yeah,
that.
when he was still in high school.
Yeah, and so you would see the Hummer around town. And so that's when I started to be like, shit, like I probably should have went to a couple of those games. Like something's happening here, right?
Right, yeah.
And he'd be at weird little after parties and shit around town for high school normal partying shit, house parties.
Yeah.
Anyway, point is, never met him, couldn't have gave a shit less, and he ended up
he
turning
blew
into
it.
LeBron James.
He just signed a billion.
Yeah.
He just signed $1 billion contract with Nike. You could have like slipped in there for like 10 grand if you knew him. Like he'd be like, "Hey, we're buddies."
Like,
Yeah,
bro, just
spokesperson for Young and Restless.
shit
Could
me
have been
up.
the guy.
Could've
Yeah,
done it.
like, do you know how much more fun my trips back to Ohio would be now?
right,
If
exactly.
that was my boy.
Oh my
No,
god.
now it's just like my weird cousins. And, shit. and I drive past. I know where his house is, and it's on the way home from the airport. So every time you land and go to my house, like there's LeBron's house. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So
That's
Akron, Ohio. That's all we got. We got LeBron James.
You got the Akron Zips,
We have the Zips.
which is a cool name for a college mascot.
I agree.
I don't know what the hell it is. Is it a zipper? What is it? It's a bee or something, right?
It's like a fuck yeah.
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 But I guess I don't know. It's something. It's like a hornet or a bee.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. It'd be
Yeah.
cool if it was a zipper. That'd be a pretty cool mascot.
No.
I agree.
The only claim to fame.
Weird,
We're
you might
like
as well
Michael
go all the
Jackson
way.
jackets
Yeah.
with like 40 zippers on them. That would be cool.
That'd be dope.
The only claim to fame I had when I was a kid was that Steve Gutenberg lived in my aunt's building in Westwood, and every time I'd be at her building, she'd be like, someday maybe you'll be as successful as Steve Gutenberg. You could be in Police Academy 7. Who knows? Like, she would always try to like keep doing Fiddler on the Roof the musical, and someday you might be in a thing like that. So what, like, how did this happen? So you come out to Los Angeles at what point?
So when I was 18, so as soon as I graduated, I knew the moment school was over, I wanted to come to LA because I knew Rob lived in LA, my cousin. He was a professional skateboarder. I didn't know him very well growing up, but I knew like I had an ally in LA, right?
Sure, yeah.
And I grew up skateboarding, and LA is the skateboard capital of the world, right? So I'm like, at the moment I graduate, I don't know how, but I'm moving to LA. So I saved up all my money, all my graduation money, all my everything. I had $2,000. I thought I was rich.
Fuck yeah, absolutely.
That'll last you 3 days in Los Angeles.
100%. That's what happened. I was like, holy cow. Like, I just blew. It'd be equivalent today of like blowing through $100,000 in like a day. So
What'd you spend it on?
I don't even remember. I feel like it was like,
I've done the exact same thing.
you've blown $100,000 in a day?
No, I blew like $2,000 when I moved to LA with like money that I had saved up. And immediately bought like all the porn I could, and then went to every strip club. And we didn't have strip clubs where I grew up, so I went to like every single strip club, and I was like, "Look, there's a million different kinds of women, and they're all naked." I was like, "How much do I have to pay to like hang out at these strip clubs?" And I'd be throwing,
and I think that's what happened to me too, because
throwing cash everywhere like a moron.
Yeah, I don't even have anything to say like I spent the $2,000 on this. I think it was just like coming here and not having any rules, and like cigarettes and alcohol and strip clubs, and like what? And then like you're broke instantly, right? So I learned that lesson quick. But what really happened was my brother was a really, really good skateboarder, still is. And so when he's 4 years older than me, when he was 18, Rob said, yo, you should move here for the summer, get a head start, look for apartments, whatever, but you should be a pro skateboarder. So I was devastated. I'm stuck in Ohio. I'm 14 years old. I'm like, man, this sucks. I'm never going to get this opportunity. So when I turned 18, I called Rob, and even though I barely knew him, and just asked for the same favor and said, hey, give me 3 months, right? You gave my brother 3 months. It's only fair you give me 3 months. So
great.
So he was like, fine, man, like cool. And I think he was probably pretty bummed because, like, I was just like a shitty little Ohio. Like, it wasn't the same deal. It wasn't like, you're so good at skating, you should come. It was just like, all right, man, shit. So anyway, I came. We ended up becoming really, really close. He's like my older brother now. You know, we just bonded. I don't know. We just got along. And it just so happens that right when I was leaving to go back to Ohio to kind of pack my things and go to my apartment, would have been my new life in LA, his personal assistant quit. And he was like, hey, do you want to be my personal assistant? I'm like, I don't even know what a personal assistant is. I have no idea. All his friends were like, don't do it. That'll hurt your whole relationship. You guys won't get along, whatever. But I was like, sure, I'll give it a shot because it's better than working at Starbucks. So
sure.
That's what happened. So then I started working for him, got an apartment, and here I am.
What did it do to your relationship as far as, because that can be very tricky.
Yeah.
That can be a tricky situation.
I will say what it did is I got the most priceless information I have ever gotten was just seeing him try to be an entrepreneur and try to start businesses and try to start TV shows. And I mean, I was here right before we started filming the first pilot for Robin Big. So I got the whole education. He literally, when I moved here, he was just a pro skateboarder. And instantly in like the span of a year, he was like an entrepreneur, reality star, mogul, right?
Yeah.
And so I got to watch all that, and I got to go run all the little errands for it. So it didn't really hurt our relationship, man. I enjoyed the chaos.
And having you as a trusted ally, you know, that can like help out and make things, you know, that you could be handling things for him while he's handling other things.
Yeah, and he knew I would never screw him over.
Yeah,
I would be like
deal.
in his closet and in his, you know, he knew like this isn't some outside guy. And then when he started to like get famous and shit, then it's a whole nother ball game, right? So it's not like you just hired this kid to come into your house. So it was good, man. It was tough, and it was real work, and he was real hard on me and whatever. But I don't know, just the way that I am is I would rather people be hard on me and give me the truth and learn than like to be babied or get my feelings hurt. That's just how I've always been.
Yeah.
So like I said, we're closer now than ever. I was the best man at his wedding, where, you know, I still go to him for a lot of advice.
Yeah.
It made us really close, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Brian, you and me actually, me and Brian both worked at the Comedy Store. Did we work at the Comedy Store at the same time, or
No, I think you had just gotten.
were in La Jolla.
Yeah.
When I was working,
When you actually started to blow up a little bit, when you were on Last Comic, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was on Last Comic, but I was working at the store at the same time as I was on Last Comic.
Right, but I was in La Jolla. At that
You were in
time.
La Jolla at the time, working at La Jolla Comedy Store.
Yeah.
Where did you come from? Are you from La Jolla?
No, I started stand up in San Diego. Back like I want to say 2007.
Is that where you grew up?
No, I'm a military brat, so I grew up in like a lot of different weird places in California.
Did you end up there because your dad got stationed there?
No, I ran away from wherever the fuck I was. Yeah, I was in a small desert, like near Bakersfield. If anybody knows where Bakersfield, how terrible that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then before that was like Fresno. You know what I mean? So like the real armpits of California.
Yeah,
I was like, I need to go to the beach and like get out of this landlocked area. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I went to San Diego, and then I was there for like 6 or 7 years. I want to say like 3 years into San Diego, I started doing stand up, and then I moved up here in 2010.
Yeah.
Did you
What was
always
your
want to
guys'
do
jobs?
stand up?
Sorry.
Did you always want to do stand up, or?
You know what? I think I always wanted to do it, but I was always terrified of it. And being in like small rural towns, there's no comedy clubs.
Right.
So when I got to a city with a comedy club, I was like, oh, and then I got into it.
What was your jobs at the Comedy Store? Like normal jobs?
Well,
Nightclub jobs.
what was your job there? Because I've got a weird job. I had a weird job.
Well,
you were the box office guy, so you would take all the calls.
Yeah, I worked up in the office, and I answered phones throughout the day, and then I would sleep in the belly room in where you do roast battle. I would sleep in the belly room between shifts, and then at nighttime I'd work as a doorman.
I think all of us did. Yeah, exactly.
Everybody kind of did that. But when I was working at the store, I had to handle 2 phone calls that are there are 3 phone calls that happened when I worked there that are legendary to my life. Number 1 was I got the phone call from Paulie the night that Joe Rogan got into the fight with Carlos Mencia.
Mm-hmm.
I got the phone call from Paulie. Well, so Mitzi calls me and she goes, "Tell Rogan he can't perform at the store during the weekends, only on the weekdays. I don't want him there. I don't want him fighting." And I was like, okay, no problem. I'll let Rogan know. So I called Joe Rogan. I'm like, "Hey, Joe, huge fan. It's Stephen Glickman. Hey, listen, you can't." Mitzi called. She said, "You cannot perform here on the weekends, only during the week." He goes, "All right, that's fair. All right, no problem. I get it. Okay." Like, I'm sure it'll be lifted at some point, but that's for now, right? Hang up the phone. Paulie calls me, and he goes, "Hey, bro, it's Paulie. Hey, bro, listen, you got to call Rogan. Tell him he's banned for life from the club. Can't have him here anymore." And I was like, "Your mom actually called, and she already told me he can perform during the week." And he goes, "No, bro, call him back. Let him know." I was like, "Why don't you call him?" He goes, "Do your job, bro. This is your job. This is what you got paid for. You got to do this."
Paulie's
so I
like,
call
because he knows how to fight. You call him.
right.
Yeah.
So I call Rogan back. I'm like, "Hey, Rogan, you're fucking." Paulie just called and said you're banned for life from the club. So Rogan put all the phone numbers for the Comedy Store on his website and told his fans to call us and complain. So literally for a month straight, I'd answer the phone and be like, "Fuck you, you piece of shit!" Like one after another.
Right.
Just angry Rogan fans are the worst, and they'd call and fucking yell at me on the phone for like a month straight.
Yeah.
That was the first bad one. Second bad one was I got the call from Mitzi to ban Michael Richards for life.
So you're
from
the
club.
banning guy.
I had to call Michael
The
Richards.
enforcer, the phone call enforcer.
Yeah, I called him and told him that he was no longer allowed to perform at the club, and he was very, very upset. And it was
Did he call you a nigger?
No, he did not. He did not. But yeah, that was like I just happened to be there during those 2, and then the third one, which really like inspired like the way that I handle business in this town too, is I got a phone call one time from the military in San Diego saying that they wanted to do a show and they wanted Tommy or whoever the booker was for the club to book the show.
Right.
And so I left the note for Tommy to call them back and book it. And it was they were spending $2,000 per show booking the show for the USMC for the military.
Mm-hmm.
And Tommy, the booker at the club at the time, did not return their call. And so they called again. And I left a note again, and he didn't do it again. So I called them, and I said I was the booker.
Nice.
I was like, "I'm the booker here. What can I do for you? I'm Stephen Glickman." And I became the booker for the USMC and booked all of our friends Like all these fucking comics. I got Ian Edwards down there, Brian Callen down there, and I think Sean Halpin. Lots of like guys who were working at the store that were just making a couple bucks. I got them down there, got them paid real nice, and it was a good run. It was a really good run. But it was one of those things that, like, if you're given an opportunity, you know, whatever it is, doesn't matter how big or small it is. And both you guys have done stuff like this. All you guys have done this. Is that when you get an opportunity, you just have to fucking grab it and ride the shit out of it.
100%.
You know, what drama? You got to tell me, Chris. You got to tell me. We were just talking about this downstairs. I introduced you to Laura Keitlinger downstairs, and I go, Laura Keitlinger, this is drama. And you were like, Chris. Yeah. And I was like, Chris. Yeah. And she was like, hello.
Hi, guys.
Guys.
Hi, identity crisis.
That is kind of that kind of a situation for you?
It is. It really, I'm going to be 100% honest. It's that drama is, you know, not the most original nickname, and it became so. Let me just say, the way that happened was when I actually hit Rob up when I was 18 years old and said, hey, man, I want to come to L.A. My email address was Cause and Drama, right? Because I thought I was a rapper. I don't know what I thought. I listened to too much rap music, right? And,
Chris.
And literally, right?
Like every moronic 18-year-old has
100%.
that thing where they're like, I'm going to be cool with this email address.
Yeah, like, check this out, right? And
check out my yahoo.com email address.
Yeah, and I remember when MySpace started, it was like fake photos with like basketball jerseys and like, what up, it's Drama, right? And my name was Cause and Drama on MySpace. Stupid. Anyway.
Hilarious.
So I sent this long email. Hey, man, my brother had this opportunity, blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking maybe I could pick up some spare work, whatever you need, blah, blah, blah. The email of my dream, it would be like me writing an email now to like, I don't even know, to who knows, whatever.
Rob Dyrdek, yeah.
To Rob Dyrdek, yeah. But like to like Ari Emanuel, right? Like I have this idea for an agent, right? Mm-hmm. Anyway, and he just wrote back, Cause and Drama, are you fucking kidding me? And I was like, damn it, blew it. Right, one chance, you fucking blew it, right?
Right.
So, anyways,
you only get one shot.
Yeah, like yeah. So,
Mom spaghetti.
Yeah.
Mom spaghetti.
So, in his normal,
Steve loves spaghetti. That's why he's laughing.
That was my moment. Yeah, that was my 8 Mile moment. So,
so fun.
So in his normal Rob Dyrdek funny kind of way, when he said, "Yeah, sure, go ahead and move out," he took all my shitty MySpace kind of joking photos, spread them out on his kitchen table, and told all of his friends that his cousin Drama was moving to LA and that he's a rapper and everyone take care of him and be nice to him, whatever. So it was literally like I showed up and they were like, Drama, what up, Drama? And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, is he making fun of me or what's going on? And then like a few months later, we started filming the show. And so my name was Drama on the show. And so anyway, getting to the point. That's where it came from. It's a stupid way to get a nickname. It wasn't my nickname growing up. And so now that I'm 29 years old, I have reached this point where I have a hard time when I know I'm talking to a grown woman who doesn't know who I am. And I'm just a skinny white dude saying, hi, I'm Drama. It's like, it's a little goofy.
Right. Oh, God.
So that's my identity crisis. I don't know. The other day I was like, I'm going to change my name on all my social media and I'm just going to be Chris Pfaff. But I think that's a bad decision. I'm in a jam.
That's a really interesting situation to be in. And it's good that you're self-aware of it. Yeah. That's really important.
It's like your Puff Diddy thing right now.
Yeah, like I need to, yeah.
Or Puffy.
Went from Sean Combs, the Sean Puffy Combs, the Sean P. Diddy Combs, the P. Diddy to Diddy to
Puff Daddy to Puff.
Oh, Puff Daddy's in there somewhere. Like it was.
Yeah.
The greatest.
By
the way,
now he's just a bad rapper. So
yeah.
I understand his.
It's almost
his
like he was trying for like his own personalized license plate, and he's like, no, I can't get that one. All right, screw it. Let's go P.
100%.
Diddy. Damn, take it. All right, let's just go Diddy. Damn, take it. All right.
100%.
Very little Twitter name drop. I went over to some fucking place. I don't know. Burlington Coat Factory, I think, and I bought a puffy like Sean John sweater. You're wearing one right now. You're wearing a Sean John jacket right
which
now.
I didn't buy, by the way.
I know. You got this from the set of Big Time Rush.
Yeah.
Whose jacket was that?
This was Carlos's.
It's Carlos's jacket.
Because I'm the same size as a member of a boy band. Well, actually, all the members of the boy band. I was the same size as all.
Yeah, you raided that fucking closet.
They were getting rid of wardrobe. They're like, we're going to throw this out.
Yeah.
Or would you like to take it? I was there on the last day of shooting. They're like, just take it. Like, take what you want.
All of their stuff.
Free clothes.
Yeah, we would have never
I don't know how to dress cool. This is the closest thing I'll ever have to dressing cool.
I was going to say, I'm like, man, Matt's a really snappy dresser, but now I understand why. Yeah,
it starts to make sense a little bit. But I got a Sean John sweater, wore it, took a photo of me wearing it, posted it on Twitter, and said like, wearing Sean John like a boss and like tweeted Puffy, and he fucking retweeted me and wrote back and was like, looking fly, son. And I was like, this is the greatest day of my life. Like, I can retire from Twitter. I got tweeted. I was so excited. Yeah, no, That's so funny. Yeah, that's so funny.
Of the people in the room, you wouldn't expect me to be the one dropping rap references over and over again.
Come on.
You keep hitting it every time.
How'd that happen?
Really impressive. That's really, really great.
When's your mixtape dropping?
So great. We gotta throw this in the mix. So real quick, Brian, I got a question for you, man.
Yes, Steven.
How's this fucking show go from being your show with a bunch of your friends to being your show with a bunch of your friends and the legendary roast master Jeff Ross? Like, how does that? Is that was just a natural fit? How'd that work out?
It's crazy. The first time we always wanted Jeff to come judge, and that was like a pipe dream at the time. And then I knew his girlfriend at the time, so I was like, hey, if there's any way that Jeff would ever come by and just drop in and just judge, if he wants to, be a part of the show, I think he'd dig it. And she was a battler at the time. She was just like, yeah, I'll try my hardest. And she tried for like months. And then I remember he sent her an email saying like, I just can't do it, just because like Jeff was like at the time, he wasn't coming to the store a lot, and he was like he was touring a lot, and he was going to move back to New York. He said, which is why he wasn't in LA a lot. So then when it just happened by chance that he just happened to be there. And then a judge friend of mine, Brett Ernst, had dropped out, and I was like, "Hey, I need a judge. Jeff, you're here. Will you since you're gonna be up there anyway?" Because he just came up to see it because his girlfriend brought him there, and then he was like, "Yeah, I'll check it out. Whatever, kid. You know what I mean?" And he came up and he saw the energy in the room, like everybody says. Like I remember you said the same thing. Like the energy in that room reminds people of like the '90s Def Jam crowds. Not so many black people, but just like the energy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So when he saw it, you could literally see his face, just like, yeah, I want this. You know what I mean? So then literally the next day, he was like, hey, I want to make that a TV show, that thing you do on Tuesdays.
Oh, shit.
Are you into that? So it literally happened within like 3 months of the show, man. We were ready and producing a TV show.
Who was on stage when he...
That was Yasser and Benji.
Okay, so he came like, it was like the perfect night.
That was the perfect night, because Benji was a roast writer of his, so it was like he knew Benji, so it was comfortable for him to be there. So he came, he saw it, he loved it. It's still one of our best battles today. I mean, I've seen the best battles ever, and I'm still saying that's the top 5 that Benji and Yasser
Nice.
won. Yeah.
My favorite battle I've ever seen was Sarah Tiana versus Ralphie May, because Ralphie May had no fucking idea what was going on.
Yeah.
He was just fat and a roll of balls, man. That dude had no idea what was happening, and Sarah Tiana just
she ate him
for dinner. Drama's got a show. You have Chris, you have a show here that Young and Reckless produces that has literally been sold out every single time I've been to it. And it's Matt Rife is the host of it. And it's a fucking huge show. You guys get great comics.
All the credit for that goes to Matt.
But how did you guys? I mean, he's amazing. He's great.
Yeah.
How did you guys meet? How did you decide to get into the stand-up game?
I'm going to be honest, man. It kind of. I don't want to take credit where credit is not due. What happened was he became friends with one of my marketing guys at Young and Reckless. He knew
which guy?
Chief. Did you meet Chief?
Yeah. Is that the guy who used to be at LRG? Or?
Yep. Or no, he was at Crooks.
Right.
So he was at Crooks.
I know the guy that used to be at LRG.
Kevin.
Yeah.
He was with me for years.
Yeah, because he was our guy at on Big Time Rush. He did all our clothes back in the day.
Yep. So Chief was at Crooks. He's been with me for a couple years now. So him and Matt became friends. Started giving him gear. He knew that Matt and I would get along just because he's young and he's a cool guy, whatever. So he brought him around. Matt came up with the idea, like, can we do this? I could get some of my friends together if you guys want to sponsor it. It could be a cool thing. And I was like, sure. To be dead honest, I wanted to do it because I was sick of doing like the cool guy clothing line, like club, pop, bottle. Like, I hate that shit, man. It's like, it's just, that's what you're expected to do in the clothing industry. And I think that's kind of the old clothing industry, but the old clothing industry is very like rappery and bottle poppy and cars and blah, blah, blah. I personally wanted to start doing more things like going to comedy nights. I just have the blessing of being able to sponsor one because I decided I wanted to go to more comedy nights.
Sure.
So I can't take the credit and say I curated this massive thing. Matt did an incredible job. I think we did a good job at tagging on and of bringing people out and kind of raising awareness. And that really created this kind of great combo where he's been able to get incredible talent. We've been able to get people to show up.
Yeah.
And we've only done 2 of them, but I didn't even realize what I was getting myself into. When I went to the first one, I was like, oh shit, like this is really dope. Like this is really fun, and this is just really something.
Yeah.
So then the next one is when I went really, really hard to invite everyone I know. And that one was a way bigger crowd. And then I'm hoping that as we go, we can just really, because now I get it. Sometimes, I have to admit, there's so much stuff going on, and you just try shit.
Yeah.
To be honest, you just try shit that you like, and you hope something works.
That's the roast battle. It's the same.
Yeah, I'm guessing. Yeah, and like how you said, like you just did it. Kind of, it came up to you, and it just gained this steam, and you didn't expect it
at all.
Yeah, mine's like that, but way more. Yours is way doper, way more conceptualized and a cool idea. But I'm saying it's a similar. Like, I didn't know what we were getting into, and
that's how
worked,
the nighttime show started. He just happened to be guest hosting for Tom Green on Web-O-Vision.
So Tom Green's manager calls and goes, "Hey, we want you to take over for Tom Green for one episode. He's gone for the week, and you need a
of his podcast.
Yeah, for he had a web series.
Got it.
Yeah.
So he was like, well, he's gone from hosting the web series. You can book whoever you want as a guest. And I went, can I have a couple ways I'll do this. I have a couple things I need if I'm going to do this. They go, okay, what do you need? I go, I want to do a monologue at the top of it. And they're like, well, Tom doesn't do a monologue. I was like, yeah, but I want to do a monologue. And they were like, okay. I was like, also, I want to tape 2 episodes. And they were like, oh, all right. And I was like, and I want Jeremiah Watkins to play saxophone as my band. Yeah. And they were like, oh, okay. I was like, I want my dog can my dog be a guest? And they were like, what? Just do whatever. Like, we don't fucking care about this shit at all.
We don't give a shit. Yeah.
So we went down and recorded 2 episodes in a row. They were 2 of the highest rated episodes that Tom's.
He brought me in to write some monologues for the show.
Yeah.
So I wrote monologues. Mike
Matt
Black came on. He was a guest
He
as
played-
an animal expert who brought his dog on, claiming that it was a dangerous animal. And he was
the
introducing
safari.
what a dog
He played
was.
Safari Dan from the zoo, dressed him up as a safari guy. We had Kendall, who was on Big Time Rush with me.
You had Tanya Chisholm.
We had Tanya Chisholm.
With breakaway glass, and you just kept breaking stuff.
I kept congratulating her on a new apartment, and I kept pulling out breakaway glass and then shattering it all over the stage and just breaking lots of shit. And it was really fun. And then my dog came out, and I tried to interview my dog, and he barked at me the whole time. And Josh Sussman did stand-up, horrible stand-up that we played a laugh track to, which was funny.
It was just like weird.
And then when we had Robbie, who's our like show mascot, big fat Robbie, who we had stand like almost completely naked,
in just tidy whities behind me, like
behind him,
like rubbing my ear, and
rubbing
stuff.
his ear while Matt was holding up the cue card. So we kept cutting to shots of Matt looking horrified. It was really fun. So it went online. It did insanely well, like crazy numbers. So much so that Tom was getting phone calls a month later for our guests.
Like we had people. He tweeted the number like, "Hey, call in if you want to talk to Kendall," because like all his Big Time Rush fans would want to do that.
Right.
So he put this number up on Twitter, and then people were calling in. They saw the tweet like a week later, and they're like, "Oh, let me call this number and talk to Kendall." So they're calling Tom Green live while he's doing
Tom's
his show.
like trying to interview Brody, and it's like, I want to talk to Kendall. And so they were not happy with how that came down. So then Emily over at the Improv, Emily at the Comedy Store, was like, "Hey, I want to. Do you want to put on a show here on a Friday night? We have a free night if you want to put something on." So we put on a fake. Like, not a fake, I guess, like a live late night show. And it was like Eric Charles Nielsen and DJ Doug Pound and Brent Weinbach. And
it was very alt.
It was really alt. Jeremiah, Mike Black, and we had a band, and it was weird. And then we moved to the Lyric, and then we did it.
Started doing it as like more of a
legit,
putting more into it, like as a legit talk show.
And then we got really lucky. And then Jamie here at the Improv was like, "You guys should come do it here Saturday night, 10 p.m."
Because we're doing it Wednesdays.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
And then we moved here, and literally it's been, and then Fireball Whiskey sponsored the show. And then, and now it's like, we give away $500 worth of whiskey before the show starts.
Nice. And then see people driving.
Oh, God. Yeah, man.
Take Uber.
Uber.
It's fun, though, because, like, a lot, and I feel like, I always feel like this about, like, shows, like TV shows and real show, and like stand-up shows. Either way, if you're doing it because you're, surrounded by your friends and you're doing it for a good reason and you're like enjoying the whole thing. It doesn't matter if like the show will end up like shows end up getting picked up for television, like your show getting picked up for, at Comedy Central or the Sundance Film Festival official selection, like Jason Reitman getting involved to direct it.
He's like one of our biggest fans. It's nuts.
Like we still sit around. My girlfriend and me the other day, Chris, we were talking the other day, and I said, I said, I'm gonna go meet with Drama, and she goes, I'm coming with you, and I was like, no, not today. Like I'm gonna go and meet with him, and she was like, oh, okay. I mean, cool. Like, whatever. I was just gonna say like I could drop you off or whatever, and I was like, no, it's cool. Like I'll Uber down there. It's an afternoon or whatever.
Yeah.
So then the next day I'm talking to her, and she goes, so was it fun? And I was like, yeah, I mean, it was cool. Like, we hung out. We had a really nice time. He's a great office. And she was like, cool. So what was the Fantasy Factory like? And I was like, no. It wasn't at Fantasy. I was like, if it was at Fantasy Factory, you would have come with me.
100%.
Like, we would have, of course you would have come to that. And but like, I was like, it's at an office, like on Wilshire. It was like an office building. She was like, oh, I had no idea. And what was so interesting about it too is that like, when you told me to come by, the first thing that I thought was, holy shit, I'm going to get to go to the Fantasy Factory.
Damn it.
Because that's what's so cool about that show that you did is very similar to like, the reason why we do these stand-up shows. It looks like you had fun the entire time you guys were doing that.
Absolutely.
You got to talk about that.
Yep. So I'll say, first of all, there are the occasional times when I can see on people's faces when they come to our office, just disappointment.
No,
I
really like your office.
Yours.
It's okay.
No,
All right,
I
good.
didn't know
Good,
you did a good
good.
job. Like, oh, nice view. Like I was
No,
expecting
it
a
was-
foam pit and a mini horse whenever there was the view's cool. But no, like you can see like actual disappointment because our office is on the 11th floor of a building on Wilshire. It's like the farthest thing from the Fantasy Factory.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
So first of all, that. Second of all, and I apologize. I should have clarified.
No. When you sent me the text of where the address was, I was like, oh, it's an office.
Yeah.
I knew where it was. I knew
should
where the
start
building
putting in
was.
parentheses, not the Fantasy Factory at the bottom, just in case. No, but
that looked like so much fun.
it was fun, man. And I'm trying to like go back right now and live it in my brain. It was fun. It was 24/7 fun there. And there was really a time. It was a small window, but there was a window when we really all were like working there. Like when I was first starting Young and Reckless, I didn't have a real office. And so I really was working there. Rob still works there to this day. He has all of his employees, all of his everyone there. But it was what it looked like. And then, you throw on top of it, you're really just a group of good friends and cousins and family and whatever. But then you're filming a TV show. So you have all of this extra kind of energy and you have MTV's budget and resources, right?
Jesus
so we would come up with
Christ.
crazy shit and they would have it the next day. And it would be like, it'd be like literally we need a Corvette painted like an American flag with a bald eagle on the front of it, and it would be there the next morning.
Wow.
Like or like even weirder shit. Like we need a grown grizzly bear and a hovercraft, and it's there the next day. Not even exaggerating.
Somebody's got a hard job because they're just like, hey, we need a grizzly bear
Oh
and a
my God,
helicopter.
yep.
And he's like, where the fuck am I going to get a grizzly bear and a helicopter?
Yeah,
Like,
I'll tell
that's
you.
your job. You got to
Yep.
figure it out.
It's a girl named Jen O'Connor, and shout out to Jen. She still works with Rob, and she
God.
has magic powers.
Wow.
Like
Sounds
she can
like
she literally
It's
every
like being the
single
most
time.
amazing concierge ever.
Yep.
Right?
Just
Liaison?
it's like you
Jeez.
got to be like Mr. Rourke has to be on your speed dial. Like, hey, Mr. Rourke, I need a favor. Hook
That's
me up.
really what it was like. Because really, like Rob, and I will say this, I got to give Rob credit. He came up with pretty much every single episode, flushed out every idea, did every single bit of like what writing, I guess, even though it wasn't written, but you know what I mean. But he would literally come up with the craziest shit, and they would have it the next day.
Wow.
And then it would be like, well, the Corvette, like you got to be careful, you can't break it. And so like he'd be going crazy and he'd, blow a bumper out or something. And then the lady's freaking out because she has to explain why the bumper's blown out on the Corvette. Like,
my God.
but anyway, so there was a really magical period, I would say mostly so on Fantasy Factory, where it was that fun. The show was a hit. Everything was just magical. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah. That is true.
Dude, the guy can't miss. I mean,
he
Rob
has a
Dyrdek's
magic
hero.
power. Yeah.
I mean, especially like a kid growing up in California, like seeing Rob as a pro skater, then like taking over DC, and then like you know Rob and Big are just like, oh, I love that guy. Oh my, and the show was great. Then Fantasy Factor was a hit, and now Ridiculousness is a hit. It's like the guy just can't miss.
Superpowers. He really like literally. He has magical powers when it comes to that. Creating content and it's just like nothing I've ever seen. And we had a staff of incredible producers and writers and whatever. But he would always he would always spark the idea and he would always flush it out in the end. They helped a lot, in there, and they did incredible work. I don't want to take anything away from them, but he has a real gift.
I like his ability to find people and turn them into and like have not like turn them into things, but like make them do things with people. Like
if you only knew, man. Like if you only knew the depth of like, I mean, I met Chanel West Coast.
I was going to just about to mention that. Chanel West Coast.
Another rapper.
Yep. So let me say this. When I was first kind of moving here and before TV and before it all kind of made sense, it just seemed like he really liked crazy people. Like I was like, man, why do you like fucking crazy people so much? Like, why is your house always just filled with fucking crazy people? Like, stop. Like, it was literally like a guy that he met. One of his best friends for a while was a guy he met cleaning cars at the Porsche dealership when he was buying a Porsche. But the guy just had the right level of crazy that hit his radar, and he's like, we should be best friends, right?
Right.
And he became a jeweler because of Rob, and he blah blah blah. And he was this incredible person, but he was just crazy, right? So. Anyway, Chanel West Coast, I met because she hit me up on MySpace after Rob and Big was
she wanted
over.
Some of that causing drama, dick.
Yeah,
cause some drama over here. That's what she wanted.
Oh yeah, cause some drama in that ass.
You can't be a part of that. Okay, listen. So, because I had talked about like making beats on Rob and Big, right? And so in between, she hit me up to get beats because she was a rapper. So I remember we were looking at her page, and it was just this little blonde girl who was 22 at the time, and who said she was a gangster rapper, and she had a MySpace music page and gangster rap, and I'm like, oh my God. So one night we were just hanging out, and we had her over and to my friend's house. We were just drinking, and she came over and she was freestyling. She would freestyle about anything, and we're like, holy shit! Like this girl is crazy.
Oh, this is the best story ever.
And I'm like, Rob, man, crazy. You won't believe, like, this girl hit me up on MySpace. She'll rap. She just freestyle raps about anything. It's so crazy. He goes, get her over here now. We need her here right now. And I'm like, what? And he's like, get her here right now. She comes over to his house, is like rolling blunts on his back pool table, freestyling. And he's like, okay, I'm doing a new show. It's called The Fantasy Factory. And you're going to be my rapping receptionist. And every time somebody walks into the building, you have to freestyle rap to them about what they're there to see. Literally, that's the way it would work. And I remember at the time being like, what the fuck just happened? Like this, like, what the fuck? And sure enough, it worked perfectly. Yeah. And the entire Fantasy Factory was just those things pieced together. You know what I mean? It was just a bunch of that.
Work of art, man.
Yeah, like,
straight
fuck,
up.
man.
God,
But
so
still to this day,
funny.
he'll still go and like, bro, I was at the fucking dealership today, the car dealership, and this fucking guy was so out of his mind and blah, 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 we're going golfing tomorrow. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, it's not for TV. Like, that's really how he is.
Oh, my
Like,
God. That is amazing. That's how you end up with people like that, though.
100%. And that's the only way that it ever would have worked.
God, that is
And that's,
so
you know what I mean?
funny.
That's Robin Big. I mean, he conceptualized the whole, the relationship with Big Black
Yeah.
was because he was a skateboarder, and skateboarders, when they're out skating around like in the streets, get kicked out of places a lot by security guards and cops and whatever, right? So he said, I'm going to go hire my own security guard so that when these security guards come out, my security guard tells them I can stay, and there's going to be this big confusion and this standoff, right?
Yeah.
And it started just for fun, like for the DC Shoes skate video. And that turned into, they actually became friends, and they would do the funniest shit. Like they would go out, and Rob would like, Rob used to have a lot more like temper or whatever, right? And so somebody would mouth off to him, whatever, and he would start shit with him, knowing that Big Black was like waiting around the corner, and then let the guy follow him around the corner to Big Black, like, what bitch, you know what I mean? And just like mess with people because he had a big homie, right? And he could do anything he wanted.
Oh my God.
So they ended up going on the Gumball car rally. And they were just so funny together that's where they ran into one of our executive producers who was like, you guys need a show, you need something.
Right.
Because it's literally but that's just how he's been. He did
But good
that
for MTV for figuring that out.
Straight up, man.
Yeah, and you want to know, I'll really give the credit to Ruben Fleischer was one of the original guys, Shane Nickerson, and Jeff Tremaine from Jackass.
Yeah.
Because it took 7 or 8 pilots. It took like a year to get that show picked up. Because they thought it was like, MTV thought like, no, let's do like Rob Dyrdek's Rules to Live By or Rob Dyrdek's Rules to Success. And we literally shot over and over. It took so long. And finally, those guys were like, this is what it is. Trust us. Let's do the show. And MTV did it.
That's a really, I had a meeting at Comedy Central, years ago, 4 years ago, something, where I pitched them a show called Fabio and Me. And it was about me moving in with Fabio and Fabio trying to teach me how to be a man.
Did you check with Fabio or did you pitch it first?
No, Fabio is like a close friend.
That's incredible.
So I was like, I want to go do this show. And I pitched it as Robin Big. It was like kind of like Robin Big.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh God, I don't know. And like, they were like, they couldn't get it. And they couldn't figure out like what we were trying to do.
Yep.
And I was like, like that show was a really interesting show because it was like, it's just 2 guys.
Yeah.
That's it. There's no like, oh, they're 2 guys and they're going to build a house every episode.
Yeah.
Like it was kind of different that way, but it was literally just 2 guys hanging
I
out.
think you're thinking picked up because of the title. You should have just called it Fob and Pig. And there you go.
Fob and Pig. Oh, God.
man.
Walker
See?
from down.
Walker.
That's all you need.
God, I felt that in my stomach.
Holy cow.
That was hurtful.
Hattie Ice.
He's a real piece of shit, this guy. We've been like best friends
That's funny.
for
He told me something like we were
14
driving over here
years.
today, and he said something about like,
Hate.
oh, I got this. He's like, I got a message from some guy that I hate. I'm like, I don't remember emailing you. Like,
It's just how that is.
Yeah.
Which is funny in the comedy scene. It's like that's something people know about you.
What?
that you were close friends with Fabio.
Yeah, people
Yeah.
know that.
Insane.
People know that about
I
me.
thought you were saying like, I just had this crazy idea, like I move in with Fabio. But no, you're actually homies.
No, I've got a
Yeah.
weird. I've got like a kind of a weird vibe in this town with and like in the comedy world because I kind of do a lot of weird shit and
Yeah.
I've
been
a strange person.
and I've been doing
That's
weird
great.
shit for a while and
But you've always
everybody
been
kind of.
Like even
Yeah.
as you've showed me videos of you as a kid where you were a weirdo. Like you're doing a video talking about like the assassination of Franz Ferdinand.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah.
Like he's like 12 and he's like
you started like,
making-
oh yeah, the Franz
He's making
Ferdinand
like
video.
a
I
4-minute documentary of the assassination of Franz Ferdinand
I had,
for
like,
no
my-
reason, not even for school. It was just
Yeah.
to do.
I had my
incredible.
grandparents pretend to play the
King of Prussia,
the
or
King of
whatever. It was
Prussia,
like-
and we shot them and stuff. It was really weird. But it, that's just kind of how you end up in whatever part of the business you kind of end up.
Yeah,
in,
those are like the beginning weird signs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always appreciate Brian at the store that you kind of let me hang out with up in the little area with the little VIP box.
Why
'Cause
wouldn't
no, I know, but it's cool. Like it's one of those things. You know what? Going and doing that, it doesn't seem like that big a deal, but it definitely it sets you apart in a way and kind of makes you kind of feel like, oh, I am a part of this club. Like I have my name painted on the club. It makes you feel like you're not just like a person that's
like a made man in the mafia, right?
yeah, a little bit.
Have they put your name on the club yet?
I'm there, man. Been there for
Fuck yeah.
2.5 years now. Yeah.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. Do you have I want to ask each of you guys this, but do you have a favorite episode? Do you have a favorite episode of Roast Battle that you can tell us, or do you have a favorite that you've seen or a favorite joke or something that you've heard happen where you were like, holy shit?
One of my favorite moments was the first, because there's this thing called the all nigga wave we do.
Mhm.
It's they're like a guerrilla sketch team. They're like, think like the Peanut Gallery, but they're just they're insane. So it's like this Jeremiah Watkins, your boy's this white dude. He's just surrounded by like these just ripped ass like black dudes basically, and they're always topless and they're always just doing the craziest sketches.
They
I mean,
must spend
the
like $100
craziest
at the
sketches.
99-cent store before
Isn't it
every
nuts? Yeah, they
night.
do.
Like they just bring in tons of just weird props and toys.
And their timing is the most. It's immaculate. I've never seen anything like it. But one of my favorite moments was there's so many. There's one where one of the kids, Jack Knight, he was Jesus Christ and he crowd surfed on the cross. They did a reenactment of Malcolm X getting assassinated. 9/11. They've done at least 3 or 4 times. They did it in New York, which was dope.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that show's crazy. God, another favorite moment was Jamar came up. He was battling one night, and then he came up, and he was Hannibal Lecter. So he was like, he had the whole straight jacket, the mask, and everything on.
Do they tell you what they're going to do ahead of time, or they just do it?
No, because you want to be surprised. You know what I mean? It's such an improv based show, so it's like you want to be surprised about what they're going to do. So I mean, they've done so many things where I'm just I get geeked at watching them every week. You know, and the jokes obviously too. It's like a dunk contest. It's a dunk contest every Tuesday. I'm there.
Wow.
You know? So every moment is just, it's always different. And then you see, you know, if your heroes there every night, you're like, I met Jim Carrey, John Mayer's been there. I mean, there's so many. Dave Chappelle is like, he's a fan. He's a friend of mine now because of the show. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
So it's
That's
like,
outrageous.
there's just, and like Dave doesn't go anywhere, but he literally comes to that show every time he's in town.
Wow.
So
that's outrageous.
It's a lot of
That's
fun.
incredible.
Chris, what about you? Do you have? Is there a favorite episode of the shows that you've done? Like, do you have a favorite episode of?
I'm kind of in the same boat where like.
He loves the wave, man.
Yeah, what it is. Yeah,
These black dudes show up in his
the
office.
wave.
They
Yep.
just do crazy stuff.
That's my favorite one. No, I don't. There's countless. I would say. Man, there was an episode one time where I stood in the middle of a bull ring and let a bull just kind of run me down, and like whatever happens, right?
Holy shit!
And I would say, I'm only saying that because it's a little, I feel like it's a little self-centered to say that that's my favorite. It's my favorite only because that was literally the scariest moment in my entire life.
Wow.
And it was like it's the time in the most in my life when like you're laying on the ground afterwards and you're like, I just got such a good piece of content. Like I just got such a good piece of footage, and that's gonna pay off, and I'm alive, and like whatever. And the episode was great, and it turned out good. But yeah, that probably that one.
Were you around a lot of the Jackass guys? Were those guys? Did those guys?
And so they came in on that episode. There was actually a moment where Johnny Knoxville and Chris Pontius came in to teach me how to get hit by a bull. right?
Wow.
And Chris Pontius said, "Man, I'm going to be honest with you.
Didn't Johnny Knoxville almost die doing that?
Yes, like 3 times.
He's not the guy to teach you how to do it then.
Oh my God. It literally them showing up in the building because I didn't know they were coming was like scarier than seeing the bull, right? It was just like, oh no, like what could these guys want?
Exactly.
Because they are psychos. So Chris Pontius was like, he was like, look, man, of all the shit we do, bulls are by far the scariest. And I'm like, of all the shit you do, and you're going to tell me that the day before I have to go face a bull, right? So anyway, so they like taught me how to do it. There's no real way to do it, but anyway. But yeah, we were around them a lot. We were also around the Nitro Circus guys, Travis Pastrana and them. They're literally those guys both. Like I think Johnny Knoxville and them are more so like they forfeit their bodies for comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They know that it's going to hurt and it's going to suck, but they know how good the footage is going to be.
Right.
Where Travis Pastrana and his friends literally are like missing the piece of your brain that tells you to not do that.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
I've watched that. I've watched Nitro Circus. You were on that show too.
Yeah, we did like a co-episode.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
What a fucking bunch of lunatics!
Like he was trying to ride the dirt bike over the foam pit, off the ramp over the foam pit, and slam dunk. And there was a point when he was like, "Oh, I just broke my wrist. I broke my wrist. Let's hurry up before it swells. I got to do another one. And I'm like, who thinks that way?
What?
Like you're missing something. Like
oh
so anyway,
my God!
he's the same guy who jumped
Makes
out of
for
an
great television.
airplane with no parachute and nothing but boxers and socks on. So.
What, is that true?
Yeah, he did that. And then a guy came and caught him and strapped him up and then pulled the parachute.
No
Yeah.
way!
Out of his mind. The stuff those guys have done, if you really look at the body of work, Jackass and those guys,
Yeah.
it's absolutely mind-blowing.
People have died.
Yeah.
I wonder what the medical insurance must be on those shows. It's got to be crazy.
It has to be, man. I don't know how that works because they do have
Like, how
it.
do they even get it
Like,
insured?
we had it on our
That's a
show.
good
Yeah.
point, actually. I think they probably signed a waiver saying, like, hey, if you die, it's not our fault.
You
They
guys-
gotta be, yeah.
you-
Right.
No, yeah, there's definitely that. I signed a bunch of those.
But I mean,
But,
all
like,
like
even
the
all the
broken
injuries,
bones
'cause,
and
like-
the cracked
Like,
Like
ribs
literally,
and
if you
all
would
that.
do anything, if you'd get a sprained wrist or something, they'd be like, you should go check it out. Like it's on us. You should go check it out anyway. So
Okay.
if they were doing that on that show, they had to do it 10 times an episode.
Oh
They should
my
just build their
God.
own hospital, like
Yeah.
the Jackass Hospital.
They really
And
should.
just have it like a mobile hospital. Hire a couple ER doctors, take them with them.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the NFL does the stadiums. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the 3-wheeled bike that you guys had on Fantasy Factory?
Yeah,
Was it
the T-Rex.
Oh,
Yep.
God, that thing is so fucking
It's,
cool.
it's cool as shit.
I want one of those things
I'll
so
tell you this.
bad.
It's cool as shit, but it sucks to drive.
Really?
It does. It's just because it's fast as shit. It's like 0 to 60 in like 3.6 seconds or
Oh
something.
my God.
And there's no doors, and you're literally, it feels like you're sitting on the ground because it's so low.
Yeah.
And then the shifter is like a motorcycle, so it's like 1 down, 6 up, or whatever. But it's a rod coming out of the thing. It's really ghetto.
Is that the only 3-wheeled one that you've ridden, or is there? Because there's another. Isn't there another 3-wheeled?
There is one that exists currently called like the Whiplash or something.
Oh.
The Whip.
I took one of those Can-Am spiders one time.
Those are fun.
I've never felt like more of a douchebag
Yep.
and happier in my life.
That's how I felt when those little hoverboards first came out.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this is fun, but damn it, I look stupid.
We saw a guy on one of those fake hoverboards on the drive over here. He's rolling along with both hands in his pants, like grabbing his dick.
Both hands.
Down the street.
Both hands down his pants, just riding down the
Just
sidewalk.
jerking
Feeling
it.
himself.
Yeah.
Literally.
feeling
I'm like,
Literally
I guess that's what it, because like, you know,
Feeling himself.
you get rid of the handle on the Segway and you got to put your hands somewhere. So you just start jerking off while you're doing it.
Holy shit, that shit's crazy.
That's really
Yeah, I was like,
crazy.
what the?
Just forfeit it
both
all.
his hands are in his pants. I was like, what the?
Wow.
Crazy.
Good for him.
Chris, we got to talk about this before we wrap up.
Yep.
Young and Reckless. How did this come to be? How did this clothing company come to be? Because honestly, when I was doing Big Time Rush back in the day,
Yep.
I had a clothing company that I started called Giant Creature, which is now the name of my production company. It's like my personal company that we do nighttime show out of and all that stuff. But Matt helped me put the company together, put the website together, and we would put together
Everything is being sold online.
Everything's we
Yeah,
were
mine
selling
shit all over
started.
the world.
Yeah, mine was like PayPal and fucking.
Yeah,
my
we only
garage.
did it. We only did it for like
A year.
and then we were like, "This is so expensive.
Yeah.
we're
It
not
was a
making
pain in the
any
ass.
money."
Yeah.
And I thought it was cool, and also I thought it was cool because I was so fat too at the time that I was like, I can make my own clothes. Like I can just make as many shirts in my size as I want. I can wear them every day, and they look awesome.
Yep.
And then I was like, nah, I should probably lose weight. Stop spending money on a whole damn company for no reason.
Oh, man.
You got to tell me about the company.
Yeah, so really, it was like the moment we started doing reality TV, we loved it. We were having fun, but I knew, like, Rob was a pro skateboarder at the end of the day. Rob was a already rich businessman on some level. I didn't have a thing, and I didn't want my thing to be reality TV, right?
Sure.
So I knew that pretty much right away. And I think that what happened was Rob and Big was kind of like, oh, we did reality TV and move on. Didn't have time to do anything. When Fantasy Factory came around and that opportunity came around, I knew before we started, I'm like, I'm not going to let this one pass. I'm going to create something here and use this as my platform to launch that.
So smart.
Because all that I wanted in life was to be able to live in LA, to make okay money, but have my own life, not be Rob's cousin, not be a reality star, not have to go do club appearances, not, you know what I mean? Because reality TV club appearances are one of the most miserable things you can do as a human being.
Yeah.
So, because you're literally just sitting there like drinking a vodka cranberry and the kids are looking at you.
I know. At least
Like,
I see that.
my
I know that
$2,000
Chanel
ready.
does a lot of that stuff, but she does. At least she
can perform,
performs
yeah.
and she'll DJ and stuff like that.
Yeah, at least you can make it a thing. It was me. It was just like, yeah, this is cheers, man. Like I needed my rent paid. So anyway, it came from a little bit deeper interest in clothing and in that stuff, and mainly more so in marketing and branding and that. And then I realized, just like I said, that Fantasy Factory was a massive platform to push that. So I just rushed it. It was a crash course, the same as anything else. I just went. I happened to find really good partners who knew what they were doing, who did the initial manufacturing and distribution. I trademarked the shit, came up with the name, whatever. And then, luckily, and I'm going to say luckily because I can't give myself this much credit, the name also just kind of fit into the lifestyle of the television show. I didn't think like, okay, what am I going to do that's going to be off of this show? I didn't really think that way. I just wanted to create a brand that was a lifestyle that meant something to kids. So it just so happened that there's plenty of room to market that on the show. So the way it kind of worked between Rob and I is I obviously wanted his help in the beginning. I wanted him to do the whole thing for me. He was too busy. He didn't have he was just like, if you want to do it, go do it. But when I did it, then there was room on a TV show to do an episode about it, right?
Sure.
So him and I kind of teamed up. What can we do? Whatever. He came up with the initial idea of, you're going to have to jump out of a 6-story building to prove that you're young and reckless, which I ended up doing. And we did a few episodes about it over the years, and it just worked, man. There's a lot of it that I think, I was smart, and I did the right research, and whatever. But there's a lot of it that was the timing was right, and the shit just worked.
Yeah, it was really smart. Starting a clothing line on a TV show.
Yeah,
is
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just knew.
I mean, look at the Kardashians. Literally every season, they're like, we're starting a yoga pants company. We're starting a perfume line this season. Here's the shampoo.
Yeah.
Nail files.
You didn't even have to fuck Ray J to make it happen either.
Yeah.
You really didn't. You didn't fuck Ray J, did you?
Did you? Did
Guys,
you fuck Ray J?
listen, this is how it all happened. I fucked Ray J.
I did too.
Wouldn't it be the funniest thing in the
I hit
world?
it first though. So.
If the name of this episode was Drama and Brian fucked Ray J. That's just the name of the episode.
That might work.
Ruin the whole
It
show.
could catch fire.
That's
Yeah,
one way
no,
of
they
doing
really,
it.
to be honest, I mean, they're doing, like it or not, I don't love it, but they're doing what we did on steroids. I mean, it's the same.
That
thing,
shit's insane.
We
It's the
just,
smartest thing.
yeah,
Well,
I mean,
on
you
other
get
types
millions
of
of people.
hormones.
Yeah, if you have a hit show and people are watching, it's like there's no better marketing than that.
yeah.
Of course.
Not necessarily
Of course.
steroids, on estrogen. Other types of hormones.
There you go. Yeah, I agree.
Oh, man.
I agree. Yep. That's more accurate.
What's the brand up to right now? Is there stuff that's coming out?
Yeah, so right now we're a few things. We're transitioning a little bit more. For a while, it was really loud, graphic, screen print, bright colors, young and reckless, right? So we're kind of transitioning a lot more into cut and sew and actual on-trend product, and elongated tees and denim and stuff like that. Really, really big on price. I have always wanted, my mission statement from day one has been, I want the same sort of connection with the fans that like these streetwear brands have and what people line up for, but I want to be affordable. I don't want to be too cool for my own customer. Like I want to be the coolest guy in middle America. I don't need to be the coolest guy on Rodeo or on Fairfax, right?
Yeah.
And so, I think that obviously it's important that we do cool shit, and we do a lot of really cool like LA shit, like the comedy show. But that's my goal, man. At the end of the day, I want people to be able to afford it. And I think now more so than ever, it's important because a lot of people are struggling, a lot of people are having trouble, and it's, whatever. They deserve it. But and also moving heavily into e-com. So just like you, we kind of started with the web store. Everyone kind of did that, and then it was still the old school model of retail brick and mortar business, and they're having a lot of trouble in that business now. And now it's all about kind of owning your own shit and having your e-com and having that all dialed. So that, and then like I said, doing the comedy thing, trying to do content, trying to establish what the fuck the brand means, and say this is what we stand for. It's not just me dancing around on Instagram or reality TV. It's actually a message here. So
I totally get that.
as a whole, that is that's kind of where we're at.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
We got to wrap this thing up, but Brian, let's just chat real quick about what's coming up for Roast Battle. What's happening next?
Next thing for Roast Battle, we are hitting the road. We're going to be in 4 cities for a week in June. Starting June 12th, we'll be in Austin. Flag Day, June 14th, will be here. June 16th, will be in Chicago at Lincoln Hall. And then June 19th, Father's Day, Juneteenth, the slaves got freed on Father's Day. Niggas don't have fathers. We're going to be in New York at the Gramercy Theater.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's it. And then, we air July 28th through the 31st. And the 31st of July, we're going live to air.
Oh my God.
On
And
Comedy
that's
Central?
on Comedy Central. And
Wow.
which is nuts because they don't do a lot of live events.
They don't do
I think
any
it's like-
live events.
Exactly, Matt. Yeah. So it's there. By the way, and you've seen the show.
You're doing Roast Battle live?
That's the reaction I wanted to see because I'm shocked.
I mean,
Isn't that nuts?
they know the content you do.
They know the content we do very well, and they're going
God.
live at 9 p.m. on July 31st.
At 9 p.m., like
9
midnight maybe, but 9 p.m.
9 p.m. East
Okay,
Coast, 6 p.m.
So
West
Comedy
Coast.
Central
Oh
is
my-
closing down as a network.
Yeah,
on the next
July
day.
31st. Yeah, August 1st, no more Comedy Central.
Brian Moses will destroy Comedy Central.
Wow.
Revolution will be
Holy
televised.
sh-
Yeah.
That's unreal, man.
I can't believe
I mean-
it either. I'm still like I'm
Who's
going to
be on that show? Do you know?
Are you ready
There's
for
some names
like,
I can't.
Are you ready for the hate mail? Because you're going to get so
I
much
can't.
hate mail. I can't wait for that.
I'm more nervous than they are, which is nuts.
Wow.
Yeah,
God, good Lord. How many are you doing? Are you doing?
we're doing it's a miniseries, like 4 episodes.
Wow.
Like we're
dude.
we're shooting. I want to say, it airs July 28th. I mean, we shoot like the day before, and then they're just gonna like do a big 12-hour turnaround and just air it the next day.
What a huge.
Wow.
That's going to change your entire life.
Yeah,
It's gonna, and it'll feel
it really
weird.
is. And I'm trying to like embrace it more instead of just being like, I'll be okay. I'm like, nah, live TV is something different, man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's gonna do some serious shit for you.
we'll see. I mean, like I mean, we're not we're not trying to be offensive, but we can be. Like anybody can take anything we do as offensive.
Am I allowed to ask? Is the Wave going to be involved?
Everybody's there.
Is Skakel going to be there?
I'm hoping.
Oh, God, I hope so.
I'm hoping. I'm hoping. You know, Chris doesn't know. So the show is there's I'm the host. There's two battlers. There's a panel of just like you're talking about the best judges in comedy and like film and athletes, things like that. Like they all come to the show and they all judge.
Yep.
And then you have my dope ass DJ in the back, Coach T. He's the quickest dude with two hands on a turntable. He's sound effects, music, everything. It's all in sync. Like he's scoring it like a live movie. And then you've got this all nigga wave on the corner. They're like they're just like sketch artists. They're crazy. They're doing things live while like these guys are battling. And then you have this guy in the corner. We used to call it the whites only section, and he just says the most racist things you can think, and everybody's cool with it. It's insane. Like literally on Tuesday, a battler gave him a present, and it was a Klan hood, and all of Comedy Central was there. They were all there, and he's like, you fucking idiot. He's like, I told you, all the Comedy Central was going to be here. You bring this. It's the wrong size. And then the Wave burned the hood, and it was dope. So
when you do them, you do it every week here?
We do it every Tuesday at the Comedy Store.
Yeah, can we go to one?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Come through next week, man.
Yeah,
it's going to be
please.
real dope next week.
Please, I'm
we'll
there.
do it. We'll do it.
That's
we'll make it
incredible.
happen.
Come sponsor the show.
Yeah, hey, whatever.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm in.
I mean,
Let me
we're sponsored
know.
by Speedweed right now, so yeah, we love a clothing line.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
man.
down for it.
And they give away all sorts of great.
Oh yeah, the goodies. Yeah,
Oh,
That's
my
the cool thing
God.
about having a clothing line called Young and Reckless is like people don't expect us to be like politically correct. You know?
Oh, this show is
Yeah.
just reckless.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
literally just reckless.
Yeah, that's great.
I love that. All right, we gotta wrap this thing up. Brian, where can people find you?
At Rose Battle on Twitter, verbalviolence.tv is the website, at Verbal Boxing on Instagram.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Matt, what about you? Where can people get you?
You can just go to funnymatt.com, or if you don't like me, just let me know at mattwalkersucks.com.
Yeah, great website, by the way. It's just people giving Matt shit
Shitting on
and
Matt.
being mean to him.
That's amazing.
Chris, where can people find you?
Drama on Instagram, drama on Snapchat, youngandreckless.com, and then I just started a new podcast myself called Short Story Long, so check that out. Leave your
Very
feedback,
cool.
good or bad.
And don't forget
Love it.
Cause and Drama on MySpace.
And causing drama on MySpace, so I'll be the one with the jerseys on.
What's your Twitter? Did you say your Twitter?
It's drama too. I just don't really tweet much.
Yeah.
I feel like I put so much, my effort all goes to Instagram and now Snapchat. So when I tweet,
Yeah,
sometimes
man.
I feel like I'm just talking to myself.
I get it.
Like people don't really respond or like, hey, where's Mini Horse?
I know. We're mini horse.
Well, I just, you know.
You can always get me at Stephen Glickman, STEPHEN Glickman on all social media. Instagram, Twitter, and
That's
of
so
course
clean.
on MySpace. On MySpace, I'm still Farts McDougal, I believe. I'm not. That was my rap
Nice.
name.
Yeah.
You've been listening to the Nighttime Show. You can always go to the Improv website. Our show is always a Saturday night, once a month. It's usually second or third week of the month. In June, we got Harland Williams,
Lucas Brothers,
Lucas Brothers,
Wendy Liebman,
and
some other big names.
some other big names we're talking to right now. And big thanks to our May guys. I mean, in May we had Tom Segura,
Dane Cook,
thank
Helen
you, Helen Hong,
Bill Farmer, the voice of Goofy, who's been on the podcast.
yes, voice of Goofy, and it was his first time performing at the Improv in 35 years. Which
Wow.
30 years.
30 years.
86 was the last time. Yeah.
Unreal. Bill Hicks was on the show the last time that he had done the show, which is insane. And it was his first time his son had ever seen him do stand up.
Yeah, because he's not even a stand-up comic. He followed Helen Hong, Dane Cook, Tom Segura. He goes up for the first time in like 20 years, crushed it. Destroyed after like the murderer's row.
Well, why would you guys do that to him? First of all,
It just worked out.
It was
like,
just
timing,
happened
it
to
just
be
happened.
the way to
and
do it.
He did, did
And
like 5 minutes.
He's like
and it was
65 years
fantastic.
old. He
killed it.
65. He did Bugs Bunny. He does Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck and everything.
He did impressions
voices.
of people that I'm sure in the audience maybe 10% knew who he was doing, and they still laugh. He did a Paul Lynde impression.
what?
But it got laughs.
And it got laughs. That's the crazy thing.
It was-
I know people don't know who that is because
Yeah.
they're not game show nerds like me watching the
Right.
Hollywood Squares rerun from 1980. But
And then we got to close the show with DJ Dunk Pound, who is Doug Lissenhop, who's the editor and the editor and producer of Tim and Eric. Awesome show. Great
Right.
job.
Yeah.
Portlandia and Eric Andre.
And shout out to Iron
So-
Knot.
Yeah, and Iron Knot was our band. They
Great
fucking
band.
came in and killed it. And Josh Sussman was on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be great. We got Casper Van Dien coming in June.
Can't wait.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
We're going to do
Casper
the whole
Van-
Sergeant
We're
Field
doing
thing
it.
with him, yeah.
We're starting the show with a
Well, don't even give it away. It's fun.
yeah, it's
Come see it.
Come see the
it.
show.
You'll see what.
Listen, thank you so much for. Don't forget to subscribe to the Nighttime Show podcast on iTunes and all other places, and leave comments and do things, and be well. Follow your dreams.
Oh, hammer.